Let me know if this is something you're facing. You've been showing up consistently, producing content, but your content isn't growing, your channel's not growing. It's not because you're boring, it's not that you're shadow banned or anything else, it's just you're being skipped. In this video, you're going to see a sample of what I do inside of Content Lab, where I'm coaching creators just like you. Let's dive in. So Melissa, tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, so I am a Black and Japanese musician primarily.
Mhm.
I went to school for violin. I went to school for classical violin. Nowadays, I play all styles. I've had a lot of really wonderful life affirming moments lately where the fracturing of my path from the strict classical path onto a more modern path has really, kind of come full circle recently. Just last in July, I got to play with the San Francisco Symphony where they were playing Led Zeppelin, and I'm ripping a violin solo over Led Zeppelin with the whole symphony behind me. So like, it's been a beautiful time.
Oh.
But the issue that I'm kind of facing now is like, I want to be a personality. I have a wild story to tell. You actually watched, I don't know if you watched the whole thing because it was a long video and I apologize. I didn't think anyone was going to watch it at all, so I was surprised that it went through, and even further surprised that thank you to Andres, who checked it out, was even more interested. So I was
Let's do
surprised
it. So
anyone was
hold on. Now you're going too fast. It's like we have everybody from staccato to like now speed demon. Okay.
Yes, yes. Sorry.
Okay. What caliber of musician are you?
I mean, there's no
Go
home.
ahead, just say it.
All right, I'm world class. There's not a
You're
lot of
world
other
class. That's
violins.
all I want to hear. You're world class. Are you first chair?
If I did classical music, depending on the scenario, I could be. Violin is an interesting thing. I'm not a classical violinist, so I cannot
Oh,
outplay a classical violinist.
I see.
I went to school for classical music, so my chops are good. It's what I got my degree in, but my specialty is in modern styles. I like I like playing violin over, Tupac, California Love. My kind of thing is to be more of a
Oh, I
modern
like that.
violinist.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
All
So
right.
there's not a whole
So,
ton of us.
all right, I got it. So you are a world class musician. Okay. Now let's take a look at the content. Okay. Let
Yes.
me share this first.
Can I give you a tiny bit of context and I'll be quick?
Yeah, you can.
Cool. It was a 5K lore drop because I hide a lot of things about myself because sometimes I'm scared to share. I got a whole bunch of new fans from this thing called Street Beefs because I went and played violin for one of their fighters, and I also did a fight there. So I got a lot of exposure. All these people came in, so I was like, let's do a lore drop about the fact that I'm Black and Japanese because my parents were cult members, and they were part of a cult called the Moonies, and the cult leader's son beat up my dad and declared him the devil and me the Antichrist when I was born. So I was like, you know what? That's a fun story. Let's start that. Let's start sharing more of the things that are interesting about me because I don't want to just be a luxury event and wedding violinist. I want to be a real artist and I want to create a fan base and have leverage to do that. So that's what I'm here for.
Okay. That was a lot for me to process, but I got the story. Let me share. So you were raised in a cult, or did you
I
leave
was
immediately
they
after?
left right as I was born basically.
Okay.
So yeah.
The Antichrist. I got you.
That's me.
The Antichrist of world-class musicians. That's your intro. Here we go. I'm gonna share this, and okay, we're on the Safari window here. I'm gonna hit.
Huge cult for a long time, very powerful cult, including, him doing ceremonies for people, members of Congress, and people in world government and in massively powerful media. Pretty scary stuff when you consider the scope of his power. So he was a very powerful figure for a long time, and one of the tenets of the church is that you had to have kids in order to, understand the true father's plight and life. So essentially, my non-biological parents were too old to conceive children. So my biological parents were like, oh, no problem. We'll just make you a kid. So that is why, if you've been wondering, that's why I am Black and Japanese, but I have a German last name, Melissa Folsen-Logan. My actual name was supposed to be Kingdom Harmony Folsen-Logan, but because of the events that will follow shortly, my parents decided maybe that wasn't such a good idea. And they decided on Melissa as my name because that was the most normal name they could think of. Now, shortly before my birth, I have to actually double check all of the timelines on these, but loosely.
All right,
What,
this is getting too long. I'm gonna hit pause. Okay.
yep.
There's a lot of things here, so let's go look at your account. It's as like Beethoven. I
Yep.
like that. It's pretty
Thank
clever.
you.
Okay, Beethoven. And I'm gonna look at your account here. I'm gonna look at your reels. Okay. So, was it this one that we just watched?
Yes.
Okay.
So I
So
made that
you,
for an audience of like basically no people. I'm surprised anybody watched it.
okay, you can tell she's a serious musician. Her whole ceiling is with acoustical panels here, and she's got a bunch of guitars in the back. I'm not a musician. I wish I were.
Hey, there's time.
Here's one when you're rocking out with 118,000 and there's 1.2.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about fighting or fights or something. Let's check out these two. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna this one. Let's see what happens.
Whether he wins, lose, draw, I don't want him to get hurt.
Mighty Mouse.
Yep. I'm in a Mighty Mouse video. It's a basic trailer. It's not very super eventful, but
Somebody else shot the video,
Yeah, yeah. I did
and
not
you're
make
doing this music live to it or a post?
I was playing violin live, so the music you were hearing
Holy
was
cow.
not me. But then afterwards, yeah, that's death sentence. I love freak show stuff because I'm a freak, you know. So when people let their freak flag fly, it inspires me to do the same, you know.
Okay. The way it is I could either hear this or listen to you. Which one do you prefer?
Listening to me because there's not really anything happening in the video that's important, I guess.
Okay. Okay. So, where is this? NorCal?
This is in Washington. I went
Washington.
into Washington for this, yeah.
Okay. And who do you know in this that got you roped into doing this fight?
I just hit up the guys from Scrapyard because I've been doing martial arts for like 4 years. So I actually went there to do a fight originally. And they were like, hey, do you want to play some violin? And I was like, yeah, boy. So they asked me to play violin for Death Sentence, who is this gentleman here, who is very internet famous because he's a character, you know?
He's a character.
Yeah. No problem.
His
No
trousers
problem.
a little tight. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Must be his thing.
It is. It is indeed.
Okay.
That costume malfunction's really done a lot for him.
Yeah, he needs to wear a cup. This is dangerous.
He's not going to.
All right. Well, his future children may or may not thank him for this. Okay. All right. So you're into this. Okay. So it seems like those, again, we're genre smashing here. We're doing something quite unusual, performing live for a fight. Okay. Okay.
And we get further back, we're getting more into like, this is me being like, I'm trying to get weddings, I'm trying to get corporate, you know? I
Yeah.
don't post as much as I should, but you know, I think my issue sometimes is I don't want to just be a corporate wedding events violinist, but I don't want to separate those two parts of my personality because I want to be one entity. I want to be myself. I don't necessarily think I would be best served by splintering off who I am as a comedic and fun person, as opposed to just having a clean corporate wedding violinist energy, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna play this one. Okay. Let me just
Sure.
listen to this while you're playing on stage here. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. You have a lot of fun doing what you're doing. I can tell.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
A lot of flair.
Thank you.
You got a lot of flair. Oh, okay. So what do you think what do you suspect the reason why your content isn't blowing up? Because I think a person who can play music was born for this platform.
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I just don't post enough. Obviously, that's going to be a problem for growth. Two, I'm scared to tell my stories and then not have the attention or the focus on it. You know, I've spent so long in obscurity, releasing stuff that got like, you know, 100 views and stuff that
Yeah.
I think that fear is still inside of me that I will express myself to the world and I will still not be heard and the effort will be for naught and I will be just someone who people can see tried hard and failed. Even though I have career success in a way that I could have dreamed of when I was younger and now I'm doing those things, but I still, I worry that, what if it's just not for me? What if I don't ever figure it out?
Okay. Okay. A couple things. Number one, the piece that you submitted, I just want to give you some feedback on, okay? You have a wild, crazy, interesting story. but you're telling the story in a linear way. It's mostly like what people do in a narration style. If do you listen to the Moth Radio Hour much?
No, but people keep telling me to listen to it.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're telling you to listen to it because they know how to tell stories. So listen to the Moth Radio Hour. They have a podcast and they have built on themes and they're very good. Now, here's the thing that surprised me but doesn't surprise me. Almost all the ones that have me in tears listening in the driveway while I'm still sitting at home, it's because they're writers. Duh. Writers know how to craft a story. So I think when you're doing Top of Dome, it can be a little sloppy and unstructured. So I would love for you to sit down and try and write your story. And we don't begin the story at the beginning. We begin it at the point of greatest conflict. Okay? Some of you don't know this, but I was labeled as the Antichrist. Let's just say, they're like, what? Okay, and then you reverse engineer and you tell just parts of the story. And you have to kind of keep telling people what's at stake. Because your story is and then, which is not that interesting. Instead, if it's like, or instead of, this happened, there's twists and turns, right? So we have to kind of give them enough to figure out what's going to happen and then create tension around, no, this didn't happen, this happened instead. It's those little diversions or kind of turns in the road, the forks in the road, that make a story really interesting. And you have to kind of set up an expectation and then disrupt it. So great stories have other senses, sensory detail. It's rich in dialogue and you're painting the scene. You need to act out those moments. So when you're just saying it to camera like that, although it could be the world's most interesting story, you're not giving it the best chance to succeed. So go back and think, okay, like here, I'll give you an example, okay? If you're gonna write content, everybody think about this in your mind. What are the top 3 turning points in your life? Just think about that. What are the top 3 turning points in your life? And you should be able to quickly scan your memory bank and say, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And then write about it like, what was it that flipped the switch for me? And if you know how the story ends, you'll know how to begin and you'll know what parts to include and what parts to exclude. So you could tell your story in multiple parts. Act 1, how does the story end? And then only tell the parts that build up to that ending. Otherwise, it's just extra information. Okay? So in this story, I'm trying to figure out, so cult, there's the Black and there's Asian and there's the biological, the non-biological. There's a lot for me to figure out. And not all of that is relevant to landing the plane. You'll see that master storytellers and comedians usually will tell you something, but they only tell the parts. Right? I saw this comedian recently. He's brilliant. I'm spacing on his name right now. I follow him too. I think he's Italian. He goes, being dairy intolerant or lactose intolerant is not something that you bring up on a first date. He says, so I'm already feeling tension. He goes, so I don't say anything and I ate the dessert and I pay for it later. So we wind up back at her place and I'm like, yeah, so do you like have a bathroom I can use? You know, it's like, we're just thinking in our mind, quite figuratively and literally, holy crap, what's going to happen? And he goes, I was expecting her to like go down the hallway and leave the building and then I can deal with my business. She goes, no, it's right here. And they're watching a movie together. So he's setting up only the parts that make sense. He didn't tell you about what she looked like, where they were, what they ate for, just being on a first date. You don't tell people you're lactose intolerant. You just S the bed later. That's what he says, and people laugh. So you see what I'm saying? It's a lot of editing. So you think, where does this story end and how do I begin it with a maximum amount of tension? And now once you have them hooked, they can't get off. They just can't get off and you keep the tension, okay? So I would love for you to literally just sit down and figure out what the turning points in your story are and then figure out how many parts of the story you want to tell and then just break it into bite-sized pieces. Make each part work and then when you glue them all together, they should work really well.
Okay.
That's my feedback for your story. It's just too much for me to consume and it's too much information for me to remember, okay?
Yeah.
Number two, in terms of your musical content, I've seen things where people break genres and they do mashups that do really, really well. Clearly in your fighting stuff, there's 2 things that are working for you. I do not expect a half black, half Asian woman to come in with a violin right before a guy with pants too tight for him to punch each other in the face. That is such an unusual pattern interrupt. No wonder it has so many views. And the other part to it is it was produced well. It was like good camera, good exposure, good movement on that kind of stuff. And so you're getting the help of like good production. All things being equal, better production outperforms like sloppy production. Better concept beats better production, but all things being equal. So I would love for you to try to give yourself the best shot of giving yourself good production. So the one where I watched you performing on stage with a bunch of people, the camera's not even on you. It's low quality. And I hear the other instruments sometimes more than I hear your instrument. So you know those ones where they like sing in the middle of like a cavernous parking garage and the reverb on it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's clearly focused on the audio experience. So I want you to perform when you're the focus of attention, when your audio is the cleanest and clear so that I can just hear you. Unless you're doing what they call those things, buskers, where you're like in the middle of the street and you just perform and you do something a little unusual, then the environment is the story and it's not the instrument itself. But I want to be able to hear your instrument more, okay? Especially you out in the wild, I think that's gonna work. And especially as you're busting genres. Like you said, you'd rather play violin to Tupac or something. Those are things that get a lot of attention because we've not heard it that way before. Your interpretation of it, what's the thing that excites people. So I just want to see more of that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Well, are you in LA? Where
Yeah,
are
I
you?
am in LA. Yeah, I'm in LA right now.
Oh, what part of LA?
Right now I'm in Long Beach. After this, I'm literally running up to Hollywood to play for Max Amini, who's like a big comedian. So like that's, I'm having a good day.
Max Amini, he's Iranian?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not gonna say because I don't want
Max
to.
Amini, I know him. He's kind of tall and skinny.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, no,
That's my
no.
day today.
Habibi? That guy?
yeah,
You're playing for him?
yeah.
Dang, will you say hello to him for me? I'd love to have him on a pod or something.
Happy to pass along the word.
Yeah, he's funny as heck. I like him. Okay. All right. This is very cool. So LA is your base of ops and you
Yes.
said Long Beach?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, dang. I mean, you're in part of all of this stuff, all the craziness, all the hip hop and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you play the drums too? Is that the drums behind
No,
it?
this is just my full studio, but we have a drum kit. I play drums terribly. I have a lot of fun doing it.
That's probably your bio. I play drums terribly. You should listen to me on the violin. That's a pattern interrupt, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Who knows? Okay. I mean, you could literally do this in a video. I don't know if this is a good idea. You could literally just play that. I'm like, no, who am I kidding? You just jump over to pattern interruption.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, don't hire me to do this.
Yeah. You're like, she's terrible. And you're like, hold on. Let me do this other thing.
Yeah.
It could be kind of cool. Do you roller skate or do you anything else?
Well, aside from martial arts, that's really my main other thing. I like
Okay.
I
Like
play
jits?
violin and I kick ass. Those are my two main hobbies, or my two main things.
What kind of martial art?
Boxing, Muay Thai mostly.
Good. The violent kind.
Yeah, I'm the violent violinist. That's me.
Is that what you call yourself?
Yeah, that's my fighting name, the violent violinist.
Well, I would just put that in your bio.
But I
you have too
worry.
many stories. Black,
worry
Asian,
about-
cult,
yeah.
Antichrist,
Well,
violent.
that's my
violinist.
problem. I know
Yeah,
I have
that is
too
your
many
problem. I can
stories.
tell.
I don't know how to tell it in a way that is concise
right.
because nothing is concise about me.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You sometimes may have an abundance of ideas and it's overwhelming for people. You need a good editor is what you need. I don't mean like a person cutting your videos, but a person's like, you need to just focus in on this. Make it about that. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to show constraint. It's like drinking from a fire hydrant. It's just too much. So try one thing and just stick to that and see like how that works. And then you can try a different idea and stick to that for a little bit. And so let's do this. When I do like content workshops, I tell people to do the 30-30-30 plan. It's a 90-day plan. The first 30 days, no rules, do whatever the hell you want. No results. Who even cares? Just experiment, have fun. Do 30 experiments. Every day, do a weird thing. Okay. And don't even look at the results. Like forbid yourself from looking at the results because they'll be disheartening sometimes. Okay. Do it as a form of exercise. The next 30 days, what you do is you look at the first 30 days and you see what are the 2 or 3 things that worked the best and gave me the most joy, and see if you can repeat that. So now we're kind of having an informed decision and we're kind of narrowing it down. Like you said, oh, Chris had better production. So I've only been working with people who shoot nice videos. and that didn't do anything for me, or it did do a lot for me. Or he said, do this in the street and do genre mashing, whatever it is, or make sure I'm the focus. You know, try that. Try a couple different things and see what happens. And you're kind of like, I say this in the most respectful way, like you're kind of kooky and weird, and I like that about you.
Thank you.
So you just gotta lean into that. You gotta lean to it. Maybe it's one of these things where you come up to sugar cane, you just crack it in half, and you pick up the violin, you play. I don't know what it is. I don't know your level of violence. You do you and see what happens. So first 30 days, 30 experiments. Do not look at any results, because they'll influence the other whatever experiments you're going to do. Second 30 days, look back, form a hypothesis, the 2 or 3 things that you think work that also give you the most joy. And for that month, just work on those things. You don't have to create 30 days then. You probably create one every 3 or 4 days. And then the last 30 days, I think I found something, refine. That usually gets you to something that's going to both give you joy, but also build an audience for you. Okay?
Okay.
I wish you well. Continue being the violent violinist, just not towards me. And say hi to Max for me.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. If you are a person who creates content, you are a coach, an author, a thought leader, and you're tired of just making content for content's sake, and you're invested in this, you want to see it work because you know the value of content. I'm not here to convince you. But if you've enjoyed any part of this and you think I'm the kind of guy who you would get along with and who could possibly help you, this was a little sample. This is an amuse-bouche. This is what we're going to do inside Content Lab, a new program that we're launching. It'll be a link in the description. We meet twice a month. We do hot seat coaching, which is each person 10 minutes. And I think for the first 40 people who sign up, you're going to be guaranteed a coaching spot. And we have resources. I've compiled a bunch of things on how to tell a really good story, how to write compelling hooks and lines. We have 52 writing prompts like once a week. So you'll always know that you have something to do, but not in a way that overwhelms you. I think once a week is a good cadence, especially if you're not used to consistently producing content. Look, if you enjoy the kind of content that I produce, if you engage with it on social media, if you like the style in which I deliver things, that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do what I do, period. So no engagement groups, no weird black hat stuff. It's all above board white hat. And I don't really care about schedules or posting times and optimizing for any of that. I'm sure some of you want to do that, and that's okay if you do. But my styles, when I feel inspired, I write. Luckily, I'm inspired a lot, so I write a lot. I want to help you do that. So Content Lab, how much does it cost? It's $500 a month. So that's $6,000 a year. Essentially, if you buy the year plan, which I recommend you do, you basically get 2 months for free. So you pay for 10 months, which is $5,000. And if you think one new lead, one new prospect is worth $5,000, then it's a no-brainer. Okay? And that's it for me. Bye, everybody.